So in lecture 3, I have explained you about the Newton's laws of motion. Newton's first law, second law and third law. And this I have told that these laws form the complete definition of the force. These three laws together form the complete definition of force. First law is definition of the force, means qualitative definition of the force, means what is the meaning of the force. Then second law, it gives the quantitative definition, means what is the size of the force, what is the magnitude of the force. How will you find out the magnitude of force? So that we can find by using these two formulae. It's clear. In vector form we can write in this way. Already I have explained. And third law gives the properties of the force. It's clear, that in nature of force. So all these things I have explained. Then force, from the third law we know that force always exists in pair. No force is individual, means one force. Force is always existing in pair, means if you are applying some force on a body, then what will happen? The same amount of force will be applied by the body on you. It's clear, means this body is also applying the same force on you. It is clear. So force always exists in pair. This we have deduced from the third law. It is clear. Then I have explained the impulse also. What is impulse? When a great force is acting on a body for a very small interval of time. Great force is acting on a body for a very small interval of time. Then what will happen? It will produce a huge change in its momentum. इसके मोमेंटम में एक ह्यूज चेंज प्रोड्यूस करेगा. That change in momentum is called the impulse. It is clear. That change in momentum which is produced by the force which is acting for a very small interval of time is called the impulse. And it is numerically equal to the product of force into time for which it is acting. For example, here I have explained from one example. I have applied a force on this body which was moving earlier with 2 meter per second. Means before applying the force, what was the velocity? 2 meter per second. But after applying the force, it acquires the speed in the same direction, 100 meter per second. And in how much time? Suppose in 2 millisecond. In 2 millisecond. Then the change in momentum which is produced here in 2 millisecond is called the impulse. That change in momentum which is produced here in 2 millisecond is called the impulse, which will be equal to F into delta t. So already I have explained that impulse is equal to change in momentum, delta p. Change in momentum means final momentum minus initial momentum. Here we don't take the arrow if the initial and final momentum is in same direction. Then from graph also we can calculate impulse from force versus time graph by calculating this area which is under the graph. That will give the impulse. Now we will begin from here. This is the lecture 4. Lecture 4. Already I have explained some numericals in this chapter. So now I will explain that Newton's second law is the real law of motion. Means F equals to m into A. This is the Newton's second law of motion. We also write it as delta P upon delta T. It is the real law. It is clear. Newton's first law is contained in this. Newton's third law is also contained in this. What is first law? Every body in this universe continues to be in its state of rest or of uniform motion unless an external force is applied on the body. मतलब अगर कोई बॉडी रेस्ट पर है सो इट विल रिमेन एट रेस्ट. If it is moving with a certain velocity, it will keep moving with the same velocity. कब तक? जब तक कि force न लगाए. Now see here. Here we will deduce that first law is contained in second law. Means जो first law है, it is included in the second law. You can see here. We know that F equals to m into A. If F equals to 0, then it means what? M into A will be equal to 0. But as we know that M cannot be 0. M cannot be 0. If there is any body, then its mass cannot be 0. Its mass cannot be 0. It means acceleration will be 0. And acceleration can be 0 only in two conditions. Either body is at rest, or it is moving with uniform velocity, Uniform velocity means same speed and same direction. So you can see here, in the absence of the force, what will you conclude? In the absence of the force, body will be either at rest or it will be moving with the constant velocity. It is clear? In the absence of force, body will be either at rest or moving with the constant velocity. This is the Newton's first law. It is clear? This is the Newton's first law. Means here we have deduced that in absence of force, body will be either at rest or moving with uniform velocity. That you can write, because that's why I am saying 2-3 times. Moving with uniform velocity. This is the Newton's first law. Means first law is included in the second law. Started from the second law, we reached at the first law. We have reached at the first law. Now you see the Newton's third law of action and reaction. It's clear? Here I will do here. Newton's third law. Is included in second law. Means beginning from the second law, we will prove that we will reduce the Newton's third law. It's clear? Law of action and reaction means there is an equal and opposite reaction. It's clear? Force always exists in pair. Now you take a very simple example. Suppose this is any body. So as we know that every body is made up of atoms, molecules. These are the atoms or molecules. It's clear? And here we have assumed that this body is an isolated body. Isolated body means no external force is acting upon the body. क्योंकि अगर एक्सटर्नल फोर्स लगेगा, मतलब कोई दूसरी बॉडी होगी जो इस पर एक्सटर्नल फोर्स लगाएगी, मतलब इसके और उस दूसरी बॉडी के बीच में एक इंटरेक्शन होगा. सो हियर वी हैव assumed that this is the isolated body. And when it is isolated body, when I am saying that it is isolated body, then external force upon the body will be 0, because it don't have any interaction with the other body. Now if you see here, Here there are the number of particles and you must be aware of the interatomic force, intermolecular force. Means this particle will attract to this and this will attract to this. They will attract to each other. These particles will attract to each other. ये वाला इस वाले को अट्रैक्ट करेगा और ये वाला क्या है, इसको अट्रैक्ट करेगा. Similarly, there will be in between this and this, means there will be in between the different. Here this will attract to this will attract to this, and this will attract to this, means they will attract to each other. They will apply the force on each other. These forces are the internal forces. These forces which are acting in between the particles, these are called the internal forces. It is clear? Now, so here there is no external force. Though there are the number of particles, among which internal forces are acting, but the external is not acting here. External is not acting. Now I have taken a system of an isolated system comprising two bodies. An isolated system comprising two bodies. It is clear? These are this is a simplest. This is an isolated system in which there are only two bodies, body 1 and body 2, and they are mutually attracting each other. Means F1, this body 1 exert force on 2. What force? In any direction. Here I have shown this. F21. F21 means what? Force acting on 2 because of 1. And body 2 exert force on 1. How much force? F12. F12 force is acting on body 1 due to the 2. So, since we have assumed that this is an isolated system, therefore there will be no external force. There will be no external force here. External force will be equal to 0. Now see here, since these bodies, body 1 and body 2, you can see body 1 and body 2 are interacting with due to these forces with these forces. So what will happen? There will be the change in momentum of body 1 as well as change in momentum of body 2. What will be F12? F12, how will you write? As we know that force equals to rate of change of momentum. So we will write F12 is what? It is the force acting on the body 1. It is a force acting on body 1 means rate of change of momentum of body 1. It is clear? What will be F21? Rate of change of momentum of body 2. It is clear? This is the delta T. It is clear? P1, delta P1 is the change in momentum in the body 1 in time delta T. Delta T is what? The time during which this interaction take place. मतलब जितने टाइम के लिए ये फोर्स एक्ट कर रहा है, इन दोनों के बीच में ये फोर्स जितने टाइम के लिए एक्ट कर रहा, सपोज दे आर कोलाइडिंग. When they will collide, they will exert force on one another. These forces are the internal forces because we have already assumed that this is a system of isolated system of two bodies. Therefore, these forces will be the internal forces. Suppose these forces acting for time delta t, then rate of change of momentum in the body 1 will be delta P1 upon delta t, which will be equal to force acting on body 1 F12. It is clear? Now see here, what will be F12 plus F21? F12 plus F21. If you see here, you add both. When you will add, what will you write? You will write delta P1 upon delta T plus delta P2 upon delta t. We can write in this way also, delta p1 plus p2 upon delta t. It is clear. Already we have assumed that these are the internal forces. External force is not acting here. External force is not acting means what will be? There will be no change in momentum here. There will be no change in momentum here. Means there will be change in momentum separately, but the combined it will not be changed. सेपरेटली दोनों बॉडीज का मोमेंटम चेंज होगा बिकॉज ऑफ द इंटरनल फोर्सेज इट इज क्लियर. बट व्हेन वी कंबाइन बोथ द मोमेंटम देयर विल बी नो चेंज. इट इज क्लियर. डेल्टा P1 plus P2 will be equal to 0. When it will be 0, what will you conclude from here? You will conclude from here, you see here, vector F12 plus vector F21, that will be equal to 0. And this is 0 means what? Vector F12 is negative of vector F21. This is the third law. Means beginning from the second law, starting from the second law, we have reached at the third law. Beginning from the second law, we have reached at the third law. So that's why we say that the Newton's second law is the real law of motion. First and third, both the laws are included in the third law. Now after this, we will see law of conservation of momentum. Very, very important topic. Law of conservation of linear momentum. We know that momentum is what type of quantity? It is what type of quantity? It is a vector quantity. It is numerically equal to the product of mass and velocity of the moving body. What is law of conservation of linear momentum? If external force do not act upon a body, external force do not act on a body or on a system of body or on a system of bodies, as we have taken previously. Just before this, there was the system of two bodies. So if external force do not act on a body or on a system of bodies, then total momentum of that system or that body remain conserved. What is the meaning of remain conserved? Means remain same in magnitude as well as in direction. Same in magnitude as well as in direction. Means direction will also remain same. There will be no change in the magnitude, no change in the direction. You can see here. We know that the F external is what? It is equal to delta P upon delta T. When F external is 0, external force is not acting, then what will be? This will be 0. This is 0 means what? Delta P will be 0. Delta P 0 means what will be? P will be conserved, P will be constant. क्योंकि डेल्टा तो क्या रिप्रेजेंट करता है? चेंज इन द वैल्यू ऑफ पी। डेल्टा क्या रिप्रेजेंट करता है? ये डेल्टा क्या रिप्रेजेंट करता है? जिसके आगे लगा है उसकी दो वैल्यूज का चेंज। तो ये चेंज तो जीरो है, मतलब ये क्या है? कांस्टेंट है। एंड कांस्टेंट है मीन्स इट इज कांस्टेंट इन मैग्नीट्यूड एज वेल एज इन डायरेक्शन। निदर देयर विल बी एनी चेंज इन मैग्नीट्यूड नॉर देयर विल बी एनी चेंज इन direction. It is clear. Now for example, here I am taking one very simple example: uniform circular motion. A body is moving with a constant speed. Particle is moving with a constant speed. Here magnitude will remain same everywhere. Magnitude of momentum will remain same everywhere. But when the body is at this point, इसकी डायरेक्शन कैसे है? ये ऐसे है, तो मोमेंटम भी इसी डायरेक्शन में रहेगा। इसकी वेलोसिटी यहाँ पर टेंजेंट के लॉन्ग है, तो मोमेंटम भी इसी डायरेक्शन में रहेगा। यहाँ पर मोमेंटम की डायरेक्शन ये होगी। सो मोमेंटम इज चेंजिंग इन डायरेक्शन, देयरफॉर देयर विल बी द चेंज इन मोमेंटम। यहाँ पर इस केस में डेल्टा पी विल नॉट बी इक्वल टू जीरो, बिकॉज द डायरेक्शन इज चेंजिंग. So this is the new law of conservation of linear momentum. If the external force do not act on a body or on a system of bodies, then the total momentum of that system remain conserved. Now you take one example here. Suppose, and here we will take the simplest examples. This is a body of mass m1 moving with a velocity u1. And there is another body of mass m2 moving with velocity u2. They are moving along the same line, and here u1 is greater than u2. So see here, since u1 की स्पीड अधिक है, m1 की स्पीड अधिक है, m2 की स्पीड क्या है? कम है। एक ही लाइन में ट्रेवल कर रही हैं, तो क्या होगा? थोड़ी देर बाद m1 विल कोलाइड विद m2. When m1 will collide with m2, what will happen? m1 will exert force on m2, F21, and m2 will exert force on m1, that is F12. इन फोर्सेज के कारण क्या होगा? जब इन पर फोर्स लगेगा तो 2 की वेलोसिटी बदल जाएगी, 1 की वेलोसिटी भी क्या होगी? बदल जाएगी, चेंज हो जाएगी. सपोज आफ्टर कोलाइडिंग they are still moving in the same direction. m1 is moving with the velocity v1, m2 is moving with the velocity v2. Now you can see here all bodies are moving along the same direction. Therefore, when you will find out the resultant momentum before collision, resultant momentum after collision, we can find simply by adding their magnitude. Simply by adding their magnitude. जैसे एक एग्जाम्पल हम बताएं, ये क्या है? एक बॉडी है, इस पर 10 न्यूटन का फोर्स ऐसे लगा है, 10 न्यूटन का दूसरा फोर्स ऐसे लगा है. व्हाट इज द टोटल फोर्स? 20 न्यूटन. पर अगर अब डायरेक्शन डिफर कर जाएंगी तब क्या हो जाएगा? 10 न्यूटन एक्ट इन दिस डायरेक्शन एंड 10 न्यूटन एक्ट इन दिस डायरेक्शन. तब यहाँ पर 20 न्यूटन नहीं होगा. यहाँ पर तो हमने सिंपली इसलिए ऐड कर लिया बिकॉज द डायरेक्शंस वेर सेम. सो इन द सेम वे हियर डायरेक्शंस आर सेम. देयरफॉर व्हाट इज द टोटल मोमेंटम बिफोर कोलिजन? Before collision, total momentum is m1 u1 plus m2 u2. What will be the total momentum after collision? m1 v1 plus m2 v2. Now you see here these bodies have collided by itself. Bodies एक दूसरे से कोलाइड हुई हैं खुद अपने आप. किसी ने एक्सटर्नल फोर्स नहीं लगाया. क्यों कोलाइड हुई है? क्योंकि u1 अधिक है, u1 की स्पीड अधिक है, u2 कम है, सो इट हैज कोलाइडेड. सो दे हैव कोलाइडेड बाय इटसेल्फ. एक्सटर्नल फोर्स इज नॉट एक्टिंग, एंड एक्सटर्नल फोर्स इज नॉट एक्टिंग. देयरफॉर टोटल मोमेंटम बिफोर कोलिजन एंड आफ्टर कोलिजन will remain conserved. Will remain conserved means it will remain same in magnitude as well as in direction. means it will be equal to this. It will be equal to this. Now you can take one example, recoiling of gun. Here this is a machine gun. You can take, this is a machine gun, diagram of machine gun. Here this is the trigger of the machine gun, this, and there is one bullet here. Bullet means गोली. इट्स क्लियर. मशीन गन का मास m है, बुलेट का मास स्मॉल है. What is the total momentum of this before firing? Before firing, what is the total momentum? So it is 0. There is no total momentum before firing. Why? Because machine gun and bullet both are at rest. Total momentum before firing is 0. But after firing, what will happen? After firing, this bullet will acquire the momentum in this direction. Suppose it come out with the velocity v. What will be its momentum? M into v. Since the external force is not acting, during firing external force is not acting. Why it is not acting? Because the force which this trigger is applying on the bullet, the force which this trigger is applying on the bullet, ये ट्रिगर जो फोर्स इस बुलेट पर लगा रहा है, दैट फोर्स इज द इंटरनल फोर्स. दैट फोर्स इज द इंटरनल फोर्स. गन एंड बुलेट बोथ आर द पार्ट ऑफ द सेम सिस्टम. So that force is the internal force. External force is not acting. Therefore, after firing also total momentum will remain conserved. Before firing कितना है? If we see, before firing total momentum is 0. So after firing also total momentum will remain conserved. अब जब बुलेट इस तरफ मोमेंटम एक्वायर करेगा तो 0 बनाने के लिए गन क्या होगा? इट विल एक्वायर द मोमेंटम इन बैकवर्ड डायरेक्शन. सपोज gun is moving in the backward direction with a velocity u. So what will be? M into vector u plus small m into vector v. This will be the total momentum after firing. From law of conservation of momentum, this will be equal to this. Means this will be equal to 0. Means gun will move in the backward direction. With what velocity? With velocity u. This we call it the recoiling of gun. Recoiling of gun. Because of this reason, gun is holded rigidly. मतलब कस के पकड़ के रखी जाती है during the firing. Gun is holded rigidly during firing. Otherwise, what will happen? It will recoil with a very great velocity. Not great as great this bullet is going, but it will also have the sufficient velocity. So this is the law of conservation of momentum. Now after this, here we can deduce the Newton's third law from the law of conservation of momentum. That can also be deduced from the law of conservation of momentum. Means Newton's third law we can deduce from F equals to ma. Newton's third law we can deduce from the law of conservation of momentum. So see here deduction of Newton's third law from law of conservation of momentum. So see here also we have taken a simplest system of two bodies. It's clear. Here these two bodies are moving towards each other. This is of mass m1 and this is of mass m2. When they are moving towards each other, after some time they will collide. Let me read the diagram. You can see here. This is the body 1 and this is the body 2. Its mass is m2 and its mass is m1. They are moving towards each other. When they will move towards each other, what will happen? On colliding, they will exert force on one another. मतलब क्या है, m2 m1 पर फोर्स इधर लगाएगी. कितना फोर्स लगाएगी हमको मालूम है, F12. m1 m2 पर फोर्स किधर लगाएगा, इस तरफ. हमको ये प्रूव करना है वेक्टर F12 इज द नेगेटिव ऑफ वेक्टर F21. दिस इज द न्यूटन्स थर्ड लॉ. नाउ हाउ विल यू प्रूव? सपोज these bodies remain in contact for what time? For time delta t. Means these forces will act for what time? For time delta t. These forces will act for time delta t. Here we have assumed that in time delta t m1 बॉडी का मोमेंटम कितने से चेंज हो गया है? डेल्टा p1 से. What is the change in momentum of the body of mass m1? Delta p1. What is the change in momentum of body of mass m2? It will be delta p2. It is clear. Now you can see here what will be delta p1. As we already know, delta p equals to f into delta t. So it will be f12 into delta t. क्योंकि इस फोर्स के कारण इसका मोमेंटम चेंज हुआ. इट्स क्लियर. सिमिलरली इस फोर्स के कारण इसका मोमेंटम चेंज हुआ. सो हियर व्हाट विल बी डेल्टा F2, इट विल बी वेक्टर F1 वेक्टर F21 वेक्टर F21 into delta t. So what will be delta p1 plus delta p2? You find out. When you will find out here, we can take delta t common. What will you get? Vector F12 plus vector F21 into delta t. It's clear. Now see here. Here we know that from the Newton's third law, from the law of conservation of momentum, we know that since the external force is not acting, they have collided by itself. Therefore, there will be no change in the momentum. These bodies have collided by itself. It is clear. These bodies have collided by itself. Why itself? Because they were moving towards each other. ये एक इसकी तरफ मूव कर रही थी, एक इसकी तरफ. They have collided by itself. Therefore, there will be no change in momentum. Why? Because external force has not acted. Collision external force के कारण नहीं हुआ है. So what will happen? Delta P1 plus delta P2 will be equal to 0. And when it is 0, so what will be? You can see here, this is 0, then this will be also equals to 0. Now since the time cannot be 0, therefore vector F12 plus vector F21 equals to 0, which means vector F12 is negative of vector F21, which is the Newton's third law. Means starting from the law of conservation of momentum, we have reached at the third law. So in this lecture we will do up to here. Then afterwards in the next lecture we will begin in the lecture 5. We will begin from the inertial and non-inertial frame. Somewhere here it is given. I have this inertial and non-inertial frame. It's clear. What is the inertial frame and what is the non-inertial frame? And then we will find out the apparent weight of a man in a elevator's cabin. It's clear. So this.